Plaza amid all the excitement and expectation of election eve. I have this tune bouncing in my brain. It's that great song from Chorus Line. One singular sensation, one single thrilling combination. You've got one vote tomorrow, one, and it's about Donald Trump. That's the message Trump himself has pushed it really at every rally over the past few weeks. Vote for one of his candidates, and you're saying yes to Trump. Amid all his behavior, his gross statements about women, his ethnic and racial baiting, his personal assaults on anyone in his way. This is how the election is going to be read tomorrow night, on Wednesday morning, and weeks from now. It's how Trump is going to be read, how he's going to read it, claiming personal achievement if he holds on or strengthens his grip on the Senate, denying responsibility, which is very possible that the House goes Democratic. In other words, Americans will deliver their verdict tomorrow on Donald Trump and all he represents. The final NBC Wall Street Journal poll shows that among likely voters, Democrats now hold a national advantage of 7 percentage points over their Republican opponents. 50% say they prefer a Democratic-controlled Congress. 43% want a Republican Congress. Separately, a CNN poll released today shows an even bigger 13-point lead for Democrats on the generic ballot, 55 to 42%. That's a biggie, and it just came out. One consolation for Republicans is that 68% of registered voters say they're satisfied with the current state of the economy, according to the NBC poll. Yet, catch that, 68% like the economy. And despite that apparent confidence, far fewer are willing to say they like the direction the country's going in. Only 38%. Get this, 68% happy about the economy, 38% happy about the country and how it's being led by this guy heading in the right direction. No way. Anyway, a big disconnect there between the economy satisfaction and the Trump satisfaction. Taken together, those results show a dramatic disconnect, as I said, revealing that voters can be positive on the economy and still feel the country is on a wrong way. That's an alarming sign for President Trump and his party tonight. It explains why Trump today raised the specter, you bet it, here it comes, of voter fraud, in an apparent play to discredit the results before they're even in. And even though the president's own commission uncovered no evidence to support claims of widespread voter fraud, he issued this misleading tweet this morning. Quote, law enforcement has been strongly notified to watch closely for any illegal voting which may take place in Tuesday's election. Wow. It's the old, the election is rigged cry that Trump had ready in case he lost in 2016. Well, Trump also went a step further and dismissed legitimate concerns about voter suppression, saying, so funny to see the CNN fake suppression polls and false rhetoric. Meanwhile, Trump continued his attacks on Democrats today by stoking anti-immigrant fears.
As we speak, Democrats are openly encouraging millions of illegal aliens to violate our laws and break into our country, and they want to sign them up for free welfare, free health care, free education, and, of course, the right to vote. The right to vote. There is only one way to end this lawless assault on our dignity, our sovereignty, and on our borders, and that's by voting tomorrow Republican.
Wow, joining me right now is Susan Page, Washington Bureau Chief for USA Today. Aisha Moody Mills is a Democratic strategist. John Weaver is a former chief strategist for John McCain and also now for Governor John Kasich. You're still with Kasich, right?
I am.
Thank you very much. Let me go to Susan for the straight scoop. Susan, I don't know how you can walk into a voting booth tomorrow and come out of it without thinking about Donald J. Trump, either wanting to ditch the guy, sending the worst mood message of your life, or, I like this guy. I don't know how you avoid the guy.
I think that's true, and I think our polling shows that most Americans say Donald Trump is an important factor in deciding their vote. And in fact, President Trump has made it so. If anybody was not inclined to think that a few weeks ago, he has gone on this unprecedented series of rallies that tells voters, pretend like I'm on the ballot, because he is in an important way on the ballot. And the results will be a judgment by American voters about whether they like the course that he's taken the country on or whether they want to change that course.
It looks to me like he's afraid. He's already said he's going to lose the House. He says it in so many words for the last 2 or 3 days. And now he's saying he's going to lose the election because he's talking, it's rigged. It's the old number he was trying out in 16.
Yeah, so here's the other piece of this, too. He's afraid because he thinks he's going to lose, not just simply because this is an indictment on him, but also because what we're seeing right now is this amazing surge of energy among people of color, among young people on the Democratic side.
Okay, tell me, make me feel good. How do we know that?
Well, we know that, one, because of the GOTV efforts that are happening. Just look at early vote numbers right now. Early vote is almost double what it was in the previous.
Is that
midterms.
early or added vote? Do we know?
Well, I don't know if we know, but I know that's early vote. And then what we're seeing is groups like Color of Change PAC are mobilizing so many voters in ways that are unprecedented. They've hit like 1.5 million text messages to voters. They're out there knocking on, 13,000, 15,000 doors. So we're seeing more volunteerism.
What's hopped up
right
the
now.
interest in this election besides Trump? Anything else, or is it all Trump?
Yeah, I think part of it is Trump, but the other piece of it is really we've got a whole piece around Black pride and around being excited about the first in Georgia, in Florida, opportunity to have elected officials in governorships that we've never seen before.
And these are not what do you call them? Sacrificial. They used to say sacrificial. The candidate gets nominated who's never going to win.
These
are first-rate Ivy League superstars.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, these are people who have been doing this work for a very, very, very long time.
With experience, yeah.
And they're driving a new message, Chris, though. This isn't just about fear and upset with Donald Trump. They are pushing a message and a vision for America that's progressive. And so people are actually running
Okay,
for
wait, you're losing me here. You're saying the only way Democrats can win is if they're progressive.
I'm saying what's winning in
Georgia
and Florida.
You got a lot of moderate Democrats out there that you're not cheering on very strong.
What I'm cheering on
if you don't do that, if you don't cheer them on, you don't get a majority.
And in Texas, too.
You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, thank you. That's my argument. That's not yours. The Washington Post reports today about the Republican campaigns of 2018, noting that the fierce battle for control of Congress and the nation's governorships has turned toward blatant and overtly racial attacks rarely seen since the Civil War, actually the Civil Rights era of the 60s. For example, we saw Iowa's Republican Congressman Steve King. He's a real beauty out there. And his right-wing political party, comparing it to the right-wing political party, the neo-Nazi party in Austria, to the Republican Party here. That's sweet. He saw a white supremacist group make racial robocalls in Georgia targeting Democrat Stacey Abrams, we're just talking about, and her chief surrogate, Oprah Winfrey. Then there's that racially suggestive ad produced by Trump's campaign committee, which wrongly linked the Democrats to the undocumented immigrant who was convicted, there he is, for killing 2 police officers and saying he wants to kill more. Well, as of tonight, Facebook, CNN, NBC, and Fox have either refused to air that ad or pulled it from their networks. John, this has got to be the first time in modern history that a president's ads have been pulled for being racist.
Imagine. Right?
Well, I imagine it.
No,
it's happening.
Look, his dystopian vision of the future, he has knocked the legs out from under so many Republican candidates running these suburban districts, and he's actually broadened the playing field for Democrats for the House. And I think he's the one who's causing the Senate races now to become much closer in Missouri, North Dakota.
They are getting closer.
They are. And it's
in fact, I see the Democrats leading in every one of the late polls I just saw today, Isha. Every poll.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the divisiveness only works up to a point, right? So what he's trying to do is stoke his base, but the base is only so small. You can't win only with your base. And I think what we're seeing with these polls right now, coming closer for the Democrats, is that there are other people who've kind of been on the sidelines saying enough is enough.
Let me go to Susan Page on this. The couple of the races I'm looking at is really close, and obviously Trump thinks he can pick them off. Is Donnelly in Indiana. He's going into Missouri. You can tell by his travel schedule because that's what he believes rightly. He won last time because he knew how to put that tour together at the very end in Pennsylvania, in Wisconsin, place like that. He's going out to pick off the people who are the more moderate Democrats, McCaskill, especially Donnelly, and trying to knock them. What do you think of the success of that? Because those numbers are looking better for the Democrat as we speak.
It's true that we have some of these final polls that look a little better for Democrats, but these are extremely competitive races. It is still an uphill struggle, I think, for Democrats to gain control of the Senate. Everything has to go their way. And then just look at the 3 rallies, the 3 states President Trump has chosen to go to on this final day. Ohio, where there's a governor's race he's interested in, Indiana and Missouri. Those are both states with close Senate races and where he is probably a plus, unlike, say, a place like Florida, more of a swing state, where Donald Trump may not be a plus in that Senate race or that governor's race.
Well, President Trump has also targeted 2 leading Democratic candidates who happen to be African Americans. We talked about them, Andrew Gillum of Florida and Stacey Abrams of Georgia. Let's watch them go at them rather viciously.
I will say this, Andrew Gillum is not equipped to be your governor. Just not equipped. It's not for him. It's not for him. He knows it. He won't say it, but he knows it.
Well, Oprah's good, but the woman that she's supporting is not qualified to be the governor of Georgia by any stretch of the imagination.
You know, these terms, I don't know whether it's about a woman or an ethnic group, a race, if you will, but he seems to reserve low IQ. You notice it?
Let's call it what it is.
Yeah,
Let's call it what it is. He's running a race-based campaign and a hateful campaign. An election tomorrow needs to repudiate that.
I'm not a big believer that the Ivy League distinguishes the brains of this country at all. But when you do have a Yale law, which is the toughest law school to get into, and you're Stacey Abrams, you don't call the person low, unequipped, and unprepared and all that.
Let's be clear. Both of these people have way more experience for the jobs that they're going after than he had for the job that he has. So at the end of the day, I don't want to.
Is this going to stoke? Is this going to help? Because I grew up in a city where we had a mayor perceived to be racist, Frank Rizzo, whether he was or not. He was perceived that way. And it was the best registration the blacks ever had in Philly. They out-registered the whites because they got an interest in the race because they said, this guy's out to hurt us.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.